Consistency, consistency, consistency. One of the most common questions that I get when it comes to technical interview preparation is how to maintain consistency. Different people have different reasons for not being consistent for their technical interview preparation. The people who are working will have their job, people who are in colleges will have college stuff to deal with, some people who are in relationships will have girlfriends or boyfriends to deal with. Some people have deadlines, projects, assignments, minors, majors, thesis, exams, and whatever. And sadly, when it comes to data structures and algorithms, especially when you are starting off, consistency is the key. But once you are good at it, once you have covered almost all the portions, then consistency won't be much of a problem because you won't take a lot of time to revise these things. But when you're starting off, consistency is very important. When you're starting off, 1 hour per day each day of the week is much more better than 7 hours in the weekend. But Praveen, how do you remain consistent in your technical interview preparation? And after hours of days and research and intensive YouTubing and Googling, and from my personal experience, I have narrowed down 7 very important tips that can be used to maintain consistent throughout your technical interview preparation. I assure you, if you watch the video till the end and adopt some of the tips that I give you, then some of your problems will definitely go away and you will be able to be more consistent in your technical interview preparation, no matter what circumstances you are in. So let's jump right into it. Tip number 1. Start right now. The earlier the better. I have an exam today, I have a project today, I have this, that, I'll start after this, I'll start after that. That doesn't work for you. Start as soon as possible. Start today, right now. If I start DSA preparation right now, then I might end up in a hurdle like this. Then the consequences of whatever is going to come after that, these are all in the future, which are something that you have no idea of. So the best thing you can do is to start at the earliest, which is start right now. By principle of mathematical induction, if you have 1 as true and if you have n as true, you can figure out the proof for n plus 1. Similarly, in real life situations, if you are going to prepare for today, there's a good possibility you are going to practice data structures and algorithms. If you are going to remain more consistent tomorrow as well. Meanwhile, if you're not going to do anything today, there's a good possibility you won't do anything tomorrow as well. If you spend time watching Netflix, or if you sleep early, don't do any effort, good possibility tomorrow also you will do the same thing. So it is better to start as soon as possible. Starting is more difficult, but once you start, make sure that you'll be more consistent. So start at the earliest, start today, start right now. But watch the video till the end. Tip number 2. This is a very important tip, which is prioritization and time management. For people who are working jobs and people who are in college, I need to tell you, you shouldn't undertake responsibilities that won't help you improve. If you want to get into a FANG company and if you take intense gate coaching or if you prepare for civil service examination, that won't help you achieve your goal because your goals as well as what you work for is not aligned together. What you work on and your goals will have to align together, and you have to make sure you invest your time on the right thing. Time is very important. One method that can be used for time management, which I used to do back in my college days when there were offline classes, was that when I was doing DSA problems, when I used to wake up in the morning, I just used to read problem statements, 2 or 3 problem statements. And the problems got stuck in my head. I did not do the problem statements. And the thing about DSA is, once a problem gets stuck in your head, you would want to solve it no matter where you go. So whenever I had time in college, I used to get these problems back into my head and used to think about it. If I was not able to simply think about it, I used to take a piece of paper and write some logic on it. So if I get a logic, if I figure something, I used to try and think about different other approaches that I could take to solve the problem. Now that I have the logic in my head, when I came back home or when I came back to my hostel, I used to code these approaches out. Now that I already have the logic, I could save a lot of time like that. So this is one method I used to adopt this. I think it would work for you because generally when you read problem statements, subconsciously these problem statements are imprinted in your head and you would want to solve them one way or the other. Tip number 3. Organize. It is very important to keep whatever you learn organized. Keep track of whatever questions that you practice in a Google sheet or make small notes about. Don't make really lengthy notes for a single question because revision will be difficult for you, but rather make short notes. Let's say you are working on a difficult problem, just write a single sentence or a single comment, a few words about it, so that when you're going to revise that problem, you just see those words and you're able to think about the whole logic from those few words. Otherwise, you won't be doing any brain work when you are revising those problems. In my screen is some of the Google Sheets that I used to keep. I used to mark them with different colors depending on the priority basis or the difficulty basis. In the beginning, when you are preparing for topics, make sure that you entirely go through a topic, then you go through the other ones. Let's say you are revising arrays, try to do a lot of problems on arrays on different difficulty levels. Initially start with more easy problems, then go for medium and difficult once you're comfortable with easy. Tip number 4, leave your emotions behind. If you are emotionally attached to someone or something too much in a way that they will influence you in your opinions and your thoughts, then you are using too much of your RAM and you won't have any time to focus on prepare for anything that you need. Love yourself and work for your goals, and if somebody else has a problem with you doing that, the first thing you have to know is get them out of your way because they are not good enough for you. Tip number 5, this is very important. You have to keep your dopamine in check. Google says that the average attention span of a man is less than 5 seconds. That is, we are not able to focus on something for a really long time. We context switch from one thing to another. Let's say you spend an hour watching TikToks, your brain keeps on jumping from one context to another, keep on context switching. This will stimulate your brain a lot, which will release dopamine in an excessive amount. When there's a high dopamine release in your brain is very excited. Your brain is very excited. When your brain is in a very excited state, it is very hard to focus and your attention span would reduce. Some countermeasures that you can adopt to reduce this is to meditate or simply sit still. You don't necessarily have to meditate, simply sit still for a while, doing something which doesn't provide you too much stimulation. Keep your phone away for some time every once in a while and relax for a bit. And try to stay away from porn as much as possible. I'm not against sex, but I'm against porn because porn highly stimulates your brain and produces excessive amount of dopamine, which reduces your attention span. Tip number 6, follow a routine. Keep a timetable. Make sure you're following a routine on a daily basis. You spend this much amount of time working on data structures and algorithms or your placement preparations. This will help your biological clock to gradually adjust to the schedule and won't be a problem when you try to come back to the schedule. Make sure you get enough sleep and try to eat your dinner early and don't make it too heavy. Tip number 7, probably the most important tip, that is you have to subscribe to the channel because I'll be putting videos like these all the time, and this will help you in your placement preparation. If you feel like you got something off this video, then hit the thumbs up button, subscribe, and share with your friends who might find this useful. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.